This time I want to give a special shout out to one of the most supportive people you'll find on the Lego block. You won't see him making content, but you will see him in the chat or leaving some thoughtful comments. Definitely a huge supporter of the Cali Brick Clique. So this shout out goes to Will Harper. To whoop salute. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Clique, but we know a little acknowledgement goes a long way.
I have my non-Lego building products.
Scotty was a little worried talking about us. No, we walked away.
No, I stumbled off and lost.
Prepare in 5, 4, 3.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cali Brick Clique. We are here with the usual suspects. SHYtimeisMytime and Ninja with the Brikx. And today we have a really fun guest, which I'm really excited to talk about in just 1 second. We have Scotty here from Brick Me Up Scottie. But before we get into it, let us talk about all of our platforms that you can find us. YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can hear a podcast, you can find Cali Brick Clique. And hopefully you can enjoy and listen, and you'll be able to find all of our past episodes. Anyway.
Yeah, how does she do that the best? Like, she always does that.
Yeah, she nailed it.
She opens up every single time. I'm just saying.
It's just announcer voice. I get into that. But okay, quick little let me do my rollout for Scotty here. But I found Scotty because I really like non-Lego blocks, and I don't want to be, in this box of blocks that we've been set ourselves to. So I remember talking to Shy, and I was like, "Hey, do you know this YouTuber? I really like his content. It's really cool." He's like, "Oh yeah, Scotty, of course, duh." Like as though I was the one living under a rock. And it's taken a bit, but Shy's done the legwork and gotten Scotty over here to hang out with us for a little bit and talk about some building blocks. Hello, Scotty.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we'll have a good time today and get to know a little bit more about you. And our small community will hopefully go over there and subscribe to Scotty's channel, and you'll suck them in, because a lot of people who do listen to Cali Brick Clique are a little bit more open-minded, I think, about a lot of this stuff. They do buy from Brickmania. Thank you, Shy, and anybody that I might have convinced to buy laws. That one person out there. Thank you.
Hey, we got a Mega Block fandom, kind of.
Yeah, we do. I Ninja buys Mega Block and has recently purchased some of the buildable. What is it? The car, the Hot Wheels stuff.
That's Mega Block, so.
It's Mega Block. Okay,
Still
cool.
Counts,
Yeah. And so, and Sans, just speaking about him, he did grow up with both Mega Block and Lego. So he's actually the one who grabbed the laws off the shelf to show it to me. But
yeah, right. We were just talking. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those shipping containers that Victor did with the clips, those are Savon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then a lot of the military gear that Brickmania uses, I think, are from China.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey, they're still legit bricks.
Hey,
don't hate because they're not.
No, they are legit bricks. It's the term fake Lego. Let's nullify that from today's conversation. Let's consciously choose not to use it because it's not applicable. And then anyway, okay, rules are all set. Scotty, let us tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into Lego, how you got into YouTube, and how you're now considered the expert. I think it was coined by the infamous Jang Brikx, the expert on the non-Lego product.
The master. You guys are all probably more experts than I am.
No way.
No way.
Well, anyway, my name is Scotty, and I was born in Hong Kong. I'm in Hong Kong still right now, but I was raised in the U.S. in California. And the Lego stuff actually just came maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So what I was doing before this whole thing was production. So I used to do a lot of filming, directing, and I actually started my work in Hollywood. And when I came back to Hong Kong, my family is over here. And people that are from Hong Kong are familiar with my father. He was a singer, and he retired, and he came back out in 2004. So he came out of retirement. I basically came back
cool.
And so we joined him on all the shows, and we tour. We actually, our last concert with him was in Temecula, in Pachangas.
Oh, nice.
Wild. And then we came back to Hong Kong, and COVID broke out. And whoa, nuts,
That's so cool. So you worked on the back end. You were on the production side of it. Mm-hmm.
And I did that I came back to Hong Kong, and I worked in local productions and I did all my work, and then 3 or 4 years ago now, what happened was one day I was filming and my ears just started ringing. And I was actually born deaf on my left side, so I can't hear. I'm totally deaf. That's why I have like my speakers blasting, or if I don't hear you guys, I'm like, oh, it's probably just my hearing. But when I was filming, it started ringing, and I'm looking at my friend, going, "Hey, it feels like I'm going on an airplane." Like when you go up to pressure and you kind of want to pop your ears. So it's like, okay, it stayed stuck for like a few nights. Something's really really wrong. And then that few nights turned into a couple of weeks, and I was like, "Hey, this is getting painful." It's not only plugged up, but it was like anything. It's like I was Spider-Man, like Spider-Man senses. By the way,
oh my god,
new trailer.
Yeah.
That was
the new trailer is ridiculous.
Oh, trailer. Oh my god. All right. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, it felt like I was like Spider-Man. I was like, oh, everything's tingling. Like I had to run through the train station. I couldn't be out in crowds. Any car that passed by was scary. It was terrifying. And my son was just born around the time, and I'm like, oh man, I got to stop everything. Can't do shows with my dad. I can't even couldn't even watch films, like headphones, nothing. Like couldn't listen to music. And during that time, I went to see a bunch of doctors, Western doctors, Chinese doctors. We do the acupuncture, all this stuff. They're like, there's no cure. Just take all these medications. Don't do anything. Quit your work, because production is really stressful when you're doing like directing and all that kind of stuff. You have to deal with the clients, the cast, whatever, everything, right? So like, just stopped. The weirdest thing was I was walking through one of the local shopping malls here, and I walked by. It wasn't a Lego shop. The Lego shop didn't exist yet. It was just a third-party shop, and they had Lego sets inside. And I walked by, I'm like, maybe I should just pick up a Lego set. I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't be in loud places or can't do anything noisy. So I saw the Assembly Square. It was the very first Lego set I just saw in the window, just on a whim. I'm not into architecture. I was not into all this stuff. I'm like, even I was making fun of my.
No, it's a beautiful set. Like it is eye catching. Like all my friends that aren't even architects are like, oh my god, how is that Lego? Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
So I was always making fun of my brother, because my brother, who's like 1 year older, he's like a total artist. He loves like cars, and he's all into that kind of stuff. And he always collects like the Yellow Submarine, like Big Bang Theory. And I was laughing at him like, why still playing Lego, man? Legos are for kids. But anyway, I walked by and I saw this on this square. I'm like, I gotta grab this thing, bring it back, and I was building it, and suddenly I felt like, hey, this is better than any medication I've ever taken. I'm sitting there going, I was focusing, concentrating. Hey, this is like therapy, man. My ears were ringing off the charts. They still ring, by the way. It's been 4 years, and it still rings every second of the day. When I'm talking to you guys, it's ringing right now. It's like super, super loud.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, please don't be, because I treat this like as a total blessing. For me, it's like it's now where I'm at. I'm chatting with you guys, and I'm doing all this stuff. But anyway, it started from that, and I was like building the set, going, hey, this is it. This is like so much fun. This is like my medication. From there, it became like, okay, I'm gonna pick this theme. I'm gonna stick with it. And at that time, they didn't actually have that many modulars, right? I still actually don't have that many from that time. And then I just bought them all, and except for the two really expensive, right? The Factory and Greengrocer, is it? Those are two I don't have, because they're like
Cafe Corner and Greengrocer.
That's right. So so from that, everything just kind of just went crazy. I was just building sets nonstop, and I was super happy. I never went back to production, and I have all this gear. I'm shy. You saw the camera gear pictures and stuff, and I have the studio space here, and I'm like, why waste it? Some of my friends were like, hey, you have all these sets. Why don't you just build it and just do your own YouTube channel? So I was like,
yeah,
I'll try. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just have some fun talking about it. I'm not even an expert with bricks or pieces, but okay, I'll give it a shot. And then like right after doing all the modulars, I couldn't find anything else to do. I was like, oh, should I try other themes? I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, but like, that's so deadly. If I get those sets, I'll be out of the space,
Yeah.
And then I was looking online, and I found like these crazy modulars, because my wife, she's like always shopping on the Chinese equivalent of AliExpress, which is Topo, and it's like the local shops, and looking around, and I'm looking at these things going, hey, can you help me like modulars? I want to see if there's anything else. And that's where I found like all these other brands. Now that time it was Lepin. That was the only thing that was like around. But they had these sets. I'm like, hey, Lego doesn't make this one. Let's get this. And then I was thinking, well, I wonder if I should shoot a video on this because I don't see anyone talking about it. Why not? Like, just let people know that it's out there. And Ding Bao as well at that time. And they had like these crazy modulars. They're totally out of this world. And I'm reviewing them. And then I started to see my channel going, people or fans appreciating, like, they want to see that. You know, Lego's like totally oversaturated with reviews, which is fine. Like, I don't want to be like you or you guys are Jang, or I want to just be my own self. I love reviewing those too. But then there's like so many of those. But this stuff no one has actually really seen before. That's kind of how I got into this whole thing. And then next thing you know, I have fans from around the world saying, hey, you know, we've been ripped off and we try to buy these Chinese sets and we don't know where to go. Can we just buy it from you? We trust you, that kind of thing. And so I kind of built an online store just for the fans, you know, and it's still going now. It's not easy, but it is a lot of fun, you know.
So is this like your full-time gig then at this point?
Right now it is.
Yeah.
But it's kind of tough because this channel is still small, and it's not only that. It's like, you know, doing the paperwork, running like having the actual business license, and working with all the suppliers and distributors. It is a lot of work. Even doing the videos, it's like I'm using all my gear. I'm doing all the editing. I'm doing everything like one man band basically. My wife, you know, and it's a mom and pop shop really. But for right now, I would rather deal with this and deal with like customers than to have to deal with clients doing production stuff for sure.
Hey, yeah, you're on your own boss, and I would say the production quality of your videos is like top tier.
Yeah, it totally is. It makes sense. I was like, it makes sense that that's what your background is in. It like kind of all the chips, you know what I mean? Like when you said that, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why he has a beautiful camera and knows how to like edit his videos and like put them together.
I try to stop myself. I'm just like, just to keep it simple, because like for me, it's like I love the technical part of the camera, but then it's like every time I want to shoot like really, really nice shots, it just takes up so much time. And then I'm just you know, so I try to like simplify it a little bit, try not to worry too much. Still,
there's like a value. Yeah. It's like, what's the point? Like you can like, it's like a project. You can work forever and ever and ever on something, but like the skill is actually knowing when to stop.
Yeah, right.
And like, you know, when the information is communicated effectively. And
I don't think people will watch it. It's fine, you know, just leave it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm incredibly impressed, and I didn't definitely didn't realize it was, you know, your journey to get to this point and like what it took and how difficult that must have been. But that's awesome, and thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate that. We all do. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like Shy is you're on mute, buddy.
Oh, my son's trying to jump into the room right now.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, no worries. But I guess, okay, on that note, tell us a little bit more, because like one of my first videos that I watched of yours, you mentioned this convention, and this is obviously like pre-COVID, where it was basically like football fields equivalent of stands about like, you know, these companies that put out these brick built, you know, sets. And what is that like? Like, what is it being in an environment where it's like totally acceptable? Because I feel like even if you walk, like if you go anywhere here, if you go to like any store, the only brick building things you see are usually like obviously Lego, then there's Mega Block has like a chunk. And then if you go to some smaller toy stores, which there's like so much fewer of in the US, like you can find some of the other brands, like you can find some Laws here and there. And like I have a little bit of Sembo Block, like just one set, which I haven't played with yet, but I've never seen like Oxford Block. I've never seen like literally 90% of the sets that you talk about. I don't see them in the US. You have to buy them on eBay. And you know, what's it like to just see that stuff? Does it make you think like, oh, Lego, I get why Lego is so expensive? Or are you like, I don't get why Lego is so expensive? Because, you know, a lot of people will play with like the other brands and they'll be like, okay, I get it, or I don't, you know, and
that's how I felt when I built like some of the Mega Construct stuff. Yeah. Like the quality made me appreciate Lego.
Right.
But, like I don't just like turn it down. just because it's Mega Bloks.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way. Even with I try to tell other people when I see all these other brands, they're definitely not perfect. It's something about Lego and the way they do everything really meticulous. And I know there are people say that they're so expensive and stuff, but I will still say like Lego's like it. You know, you can't get any better than that. They're getting better for sure. The other brands, but you know, as far as going to the exhibition and see all those brands, I can tell you like 95%. This exhibition was a toy show, but 95% of all the stalls were like brick related stuff. So there you go. And it's not. I don't know about like you said with the US. It's really small. Like Mega Bloks, Mega Construct is like US brands. I can't get those. I was trying to see if I can sell some of that stuff on the store. I'm like, oh, they're actually based. I don't know. I'm sure their factories are like in China and stuff, but even trying to get a hold of that is kind of difficult. But
I think Hasbro owns it, doesn't it, or something like that? Like one of the larger toy companies. Mattel. That's it. Yeah.
But no, it was wild. I was shocked myself. Like, well, every single stall is a brick brand company,
That's so cool.
A lot has changed. I think even now, like the last year, by compared to what it was before, because running the online store too is like when it first started. Oh, there's only like a couple modulars that would come out every couple months, every half a year, like one set, and then now it's like weekly. So you're getting like tons and tons of it. It's getting ridiculous. All these new brands that are coming out all left and right, but it was crazy seeing all that stuff, and it is unfortunate with the whole because everyone associates if it's not Lego, it's considered it's a knockoff. It's not legit, you know. And there are still brands even now, more so than before, that still rip off Lego sets, you know.
I was gonna ask you, like how often do you find that, and like what?
It's way worse now than it was before. When everyone's like, "Oh, Lepin closed down. Yes, there's no more." That was like cutting a head off like a hydra, you know. One head comes off, like 30 more come out, and it's like crazy. A perfect example is like the Daily Bugle set. It's like a week later, they already have like a full replication of it, like done. And it wasn't like that before. It was like, oh, a few months later, something would come out, like a copy of this or a copy of that. But it seems like it's a lot faster. But there are a lot of brick brands that are doing original, legit sets. But still, like, really hard to convince a lot of people out there. They'll be like, no, man, like that's a knockoff. That's a bootleg. This bootleg Lego, just like Symbol Block, a bootleg set. But a lot of those sets they don't make. You know, even Oxford Block and stuff. You know.
Yeah. So.
So that's kind of hard, but I still appreciate a lot of the big brands I think now they're getting better. They're now trying to put out more sets. And then a couple of brands that because we're running an online store, so we talk to a lot of guys. I can tell you, like, some of them make sets and they don't even realize it until afterwards that it may have been a stolen design. That's another thing that's happening right now. Stolen designs are crazy.
From mock builders and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Like,
I guess what's hard is like how I think it's unethical for sure for like, you know, someone to see photos of like, you know, like the way that certain bricks and colors and stuff are put together. But then like, what is the patent on these things? What is the right thing? I don't think it exists. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not right. Is there like a legal oversight to this stuff? Like, I don't think so. Right. On a global scale.
The bricks are free copyright, right? They're not on the patent anymore. So as far as I know, the minifigures still are. Stolen designs, it's just a new trend that's been happening. It's getting better. Like I said, the brick brands are now like Kata is a perfect example. Kata Chang reviewed a couple. I think Bricktech also did a couple of reviews.
Yeah, Kata.
They actually licensed and authorized the set like with the brand. Even one brand I'm working with right now, they're called SHYnu or Xingyu Happy Build. They work with the designers, they pay them, they get the license from the manufacturers of the car if it's like a Toyota or whatever. And they're trying, you know, but still it's like, it's tough, man.
I mean, yeah, you're competing against Lego.
Yeah, that's right.
That's essentially, and Lego in any toy avenue is like the building block toy. Like everyone, like if you see a brick, whether if it's from Lego or not, everyone still considers it Lego.
My understanding is that it's the #1 toy company, period.
Yeah, like they're making money, right? I mean, they're in profit.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
And they did a great job because it's like, yeah, exactly. Just monopolizing it, right? It's like, okay, this is a brick, this is Lego, it's Lego. If it
Yeah,
there can only be one, you know. It's got to be just Lego. That's
Right.
Mhm.
the whole thing, you know.
But like the one thing I love though about your videos is that you are very critical on these brands,
Very much so.
and
Yes.
it's funny.
Yes.
You bring a little comedic humor to it. So like, you know, there are times where
Like I don't know,
like
you know. And some of the brands actually have seen they know me already, but they're like, oh, we love your video. Oh, but you spoke about us like this, so we can't really show it. I'm like, well, that's my video, so it's okay, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to take it and do your own thing
Mhm.
with it. The funniest one was I took a picture of the Lego diner when I built that. I bought that from when it first launched.
Mhm.
And one China brand actually used my photo, and when you buy the Lepin version, it's my Lego diner photo.
Oh my god.
no.
They took it from my Instagram. Like, no way, you know. But yeah.
That's not good branding.
That is not good at all. That's so terrible. Wow.
But
Oh man.
This whole stolen mock thing, yeah, I feel really bad about that because the thing is, like, when I run the store, I try to make sure I find the sets that are okay.
But how are you supposed to do that? Like, okay, like I agree. Like it is super messed up. But like how I don't know how if I was you, if I was like a small business owner that was like trying to distribute things on, you know, at an international level, I don't know how I would go about scouring the internet trying to find designs that do you just do like Flickr? Like what do you do to make sure? What do you do to like do your own back check? Like because you obviously aren't
guess
relying on the company.
Yeah, I guess I'll just like do the Google image search and just try my best. If I don't see it, then okay, I'll just put it up. But since I'm so small, it's like really easy for us to be like, okay, let's just take down the set if someone says something. But
Mhm.
I have been caught in the crossfire, and it still happens all the time. But there are some where it's like, there's one designer, his name is Brikx. I don't know if I'm saying that right, or Brikx.
Mhm.
And he designed a botanical garden. This instruction
Yeah.
on Rebrickable, which is great. And this brand called Mold King, you might have heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard of
Mold
it.
King stole his design, released the set, and he came out guns firing like, "How dare they do this?" And then they actually paid him, and he came back going, "Hey, you know, it's okay now. You guys can totally get the set." And I've seen like in the forums like the fans coming back out of that, like, "Oh, how dare you?" Or you know, like people, you can't hide it. People will talk about it. But brands are starting to do that. That's like kind of a trick now. It's like let's just steal the set first. If it's really successful, let's find
Yeah.
it.
What is the expression? It's like ask for forgiveness instead of, or
Yeah.
like it's easier to
Better
ask for
ask for
forgiveness than
forgiveness.
for permission or something
Yeah.
like that.
But there are some designers that are like super hardcore. Some of them have come after my channel. They're like, if you even review the set or talk about it, I'm gonna like report or shut you
You
down.
are doing absolute. That is just absolute ignorance. You're doing nothing wrong by talking about the product.
True, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, there's thousands. I mean, there's all sorts of sellers. That these things are being churned out by the factory, which is like thousands, hundreds and thousands of these things being put out, you know, and you can't control that, man. You can't stop it. So either just like own up, join it, or just, you know, be bitter about it, shut yourself down, which I've seen some people do, and you know, but it's still happening. It's unfortunate that's happening. So basically, what they're doing too is they're going to these sites like Rebrickable. They're buying the instructions. They just bring it to the mold factory, get all the mold for it, and then sell it as a set.
Yeah. Very easy. But it is crazy though when they're able to mimic a whole brand new Lego set that's been hush hush like in a week. That's
crazy. The Daily Bugle.
Yeah,
1
like
week
to
later.
engineer it all.
I think the other one was the Barracuda Bay. They did that like under like a week and a half later. It was
Like
crazy.
who
So-
are these builders? You know, like the skill set of that.
I wonder if there's like software that reverse engineers like sets.
Yeah, I think that's what I hear. It's like reverse engineering. But
Yeah.
the crazy thing is, to me, it's kind of cool, but I don't get any of them for myself. But I've seen like a lot of the Lego ideas.
Hmm.
A perfect example is the Barracuda Bay. So they had like the Lego idea version, right? And then they remodified it when it came out. It was really different than what it was. but some brands have actually done the mock version, like the
original one.
the original one. So the same with like Starry Night. I think that one. See, just like that was really cool. I was like, oh, cool! Someone made a Starry Night scene, and it's on Lego Ideas. It finally got approved. I had no idea, and then they have a set available already over here. You know,
that's so crazy. We haven't even seen the official Lego one yet.
Yeah, that's right. So they're basically off of
the ideas submission.
See, that's why Lego is so strict about like leaks.
I think Lego is so strict on leaks because of companies like that, not necessarily like, you know what I mean? I think that's really the killer. What I'm really curious about is like what so Lepin only shut down, right? Because Lego had the power to do that. So how is an individual supposed to compete with these larger companies now? They can't, right?
Yeah, it's just like everything gets knocked off, right? From shoes. That's why I try to tell people like everything get knocked off. Shoes, handbags, whatever. It's just the same thing.
Yeah, well that's been happening forever. That's been happening forever.
Exactly, right. So it's kind of the same.
They still haven't won that war. Like the Louis Vuitton company, by the way, richest family, richest company in the entire world, is still fighting this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing people can do, and the difference between Louis Vuitton and an individual is maybe the guilt and the bad publicity that they could set on these companies using social media. But a lot of these companies are based in China, right? So where social media isn't even a thing.
Right.
At least connected to us, at least.
The other thing too that I see like working with the stores, like the China companies, for sellers or distributors outside, they like to please. They have to please, right, to get the business.
Mm-hmm.
So, but locally, I know like they act really different. So it can be like, yeah, this is gonna be fine. It's like it's totally an original set. We're not doing it like Lego. And then I'm sure over there they're just like laughing, going, oh yeah. This is like whatever. Like
they don't care.
It's almost like they don't care, or it's like one factory split up into 5 different sub factories, or sub companies, and in the end they're actually all the same thing. I think Jang was asking me that question, like, how do you know which brand is legit, or who has done the most like official sets without being like?
I was going to ask you that. Yeah, how do you know?
I have yet to find, and I think every single brand has at least done one kind of a knockoff, like kind of a copy, and then there they do their own. I think I put up an Oxford block, which is, for those who don't know, Oxford block is a Korean brick brand. The factory.
You speak really well on that one. That I feel like that's like one of the top tier ones, right?
That's your number one fan. I'm just letting you know right now.
The next video I'm doing is Oxford block sets.
Okay, great.
No, I think I put up a hospital set on my Instagram, and I had like it came with a little cat, and someone pointed out, hey, that cat is exactly the same as Playmobil. I Googled it. I'm like, oh, it's exactly the same, you know?
Dude.
And I don't know. Every brand has done at least one set first, and then if they try to be nice, they try to do their own sets. But then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this instruction the font looks almost exactly like this other brand's.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I guarantee a lot of those brands are like have the same like parent company, or the same maybe it's one company that's producing the instructions for like a lot of them.
Like Jinbao technically Lepin, right?
Yeah, so that's the funny part. So when Lepin shut down, we know the guys from my wife talks to all the suppliers and the guys from Jinbao, and they were still operating. And what happened was when Lepin shut down and the factories that really got closed off, half of the molds couldn't be made. So it's like everyone is sharing from different factories, but Jinbao will always say like, no, we're not part of them. Or another brand will say, we're not part of this brand. But I think they kind of share the same molds. I'm not sure. But there are definitely different factories. There's like one area in China called Shantao. It's like factory land. It's probably got to be like the size of LA, I'm guessing. That's just literally
just factories
making
that alone is like it's just the reason for global warming. But anyway, let's keep going. No, I'm kidding. It's it's the cows, it's our farms. Anyway,
farmland. But the crazy thing is there's a new brand called Brikx. So Brikx is a new factory that happened to just open after the whole thing happened with Lepin, but they actually do their own bricks and brands have been sourcing those bricks to make their sets. It was like, so the brand gets shut down, the factory can stay open. They can't close down the factory because the bricks are no patent, but the quality of the bricks are really, really close to Lego. It's kind of scary.
Oh no.
So,
I think that's what Lego's afraid of. We did discuss it a while back, and I forgot to get the name of the Lego, not the Lego brick, the brick that was being created to replace colors or provide colors of inventory to Lego enthusiasts who want, like, for example, like a branch color or like a leaf color element,
right.
And they're making these sets, or they were making these bricks. Obviously, none of them were patented, or the patent was over, and or they weren't replicating colors of inventory that's already out there. They're doing things that are completely not even available. And then I remember Kevin Hinkle discussing on his podcast when he did his thing, where he brought it back to Lego headquarters themselves in Billund, and they were freaking out on the quality of the brick. Like, it's so similar that it's like it freaked them out. And I think that was one of the reasons why they bought BrickLink.
Of course. I mean, that's how they.
Yeah, it was being offered on
step up. It's one of their major step ups. It's not just like the quality instructions and their customer service. They have a lot of ways that it's so good. But
other brands going to catch up eventually. Yeah. It's inevitable.
Or they can just buy it. They can just buy it.
You were asking me about how Lego's here. And I think the reason that
there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, no. Nice segue.
Okay. No, but in the last few years, Lego has completely started opening shops everywhere, all over here in Hong Kong. They're doing, I think they opened one in just across the border in China and in Shenzhen, and also like I think Shanghai now. I think everywhere now they're trying to definitely putting pressure on. And the other thing that's happening too is not only me, because a couple of weeks ago, probably more like a month ago, we got letters from Lego about my store. They're like,
"Oh no,
yeah, you need to take down." Actually, they took it down because we run our store through Shopify, and they're like, "Oh, overnight." It was like an overnight operation. Half the products were gone, and the only reason was because I actually used the word Lego in the description because I didn't want people to get confused when they buy Lost. Claire, you're talking about bricks, right? Lost bricks are totally different size from Lego.
Exactly, different scale.
It's smaller, and I'm like, this is not Lego compatible. And because I said that, Lego was like, shut it all down, take it all down. And then a week during that time, within that week, I'm like seeing all the forums going nuts because all the sellers, but the other sellers, they sell like everything, which I try to avoid. I try not to sell any of that stuff, but there's like all the knockoff basically. But all the shops were getting all the shits taken down. And I guess Lego's like going on a rampage right now. So they're trying to open up more stores here. And I think they're actually doing pretty good.
If you go on the Lego website and you look at open job positions,
right?
Not like it looks like 70% of them are for the Asian market.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're trying to just get more people to get into the Lego stuff here. And you've been seeing recently like all the new Chinese New Year sets, the Monkey Kid,
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah, they're hardcore Singapore.
Yeah, so they're and we get queues here in the stores too when something new comes out. Everyone's lining up out the door, and yeah, man, just getting. And they actually, I haven't heard from them for about a year or so because I'm having so much fun doing all these other sets. But they have a good relationship with me too here at the local Lego Hong Kong, and I
was about to ask.
Yeah, they sent me the Apocalypse Berg as a gift. So I
oh my god,
yeah, it's an amazing set. And the brick heads before that was actually released. I was that one of my video was the one that came out just a few weeks before they really launched that. So there's some. I mean, they're cool with it. So far they've been okay, but I'm not quite sure now because like I'm doing all these other stuff. How they feel, but they still like. I still personally love Lego. I'll go in the shops if I can, buy their sets. And there's tons of there's a whole list that I want to go in and grab. But they are pretty strong out here now, which is good.
Are the prices gaugeable with the other brands, or are they a little bit too much over there?
They're retail, so it's going to be the same as your guys' price.
But how do they compare to the other brands?
Exactly.
Cheap, man. That's why the stuff is like so cheap. It's the China stuff. If you're here and you want to buy the stuff, it's like a big difference. But what's interesting now is I'm seeing is I think the brands know what's happening. Like, okay, people really are buying these modular sets, or people are buying this mock, and there's money to be made, and the prices are actually increasing now. And it doesn't help with COVID that the shipping is a pain in the ass, because that's like increasing too. But now it's like, oh, they're almost reaching Lego prices, which is kind of wild.
I noticed that.
You know?
Oxford block is really expensive.
The only reason Oxford is really expensive is because all their sets is done and made in Korea. I have friends out there, and they're like, don't deal business with them. Koreans are like really strict with their. They work very locally, you know. I'm like, oh, okay. So for
it's
us,
hard to get their stuff.
Yeah. So
very insular.
Use an agent or have a friend help us get sets and send them. We got to send it back here to Hong Kong. Got to check it, and then but people do buy it, and when they stop making it, they just totally stop. They don't make any more. So the crossover stuff, I think the license just has a certain amount of time and it's done, so you can't buy them anymore. So that's probably why the prices go up and up.
Right. It's like Lego.
But they still have like their town series themes that you can just go in Toys R Us and buy. So, yeah, but I do love Oxford. They haven't put anything out new yet, I think, because of the whole COVID thing. But they have some fun stuff for sure.
That's so cool. That's so crazy. The drama is almost like really fascinating. It's almost like even more interesting than the sets themselves, like the politics behind it all. And, just that kind of retail commerce on an international level is really interesting.
Can I just shed a tear for Toys R Us out here?
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah, we don't have Toys R Us anymore in the US. It's gone forever.
Well, no, wait. I just heard on public radio is that they are coming back again here in the US, but it's going to be like a shop like inside Macy's or like Bloomingdale's. Like I forget. I think it's Macy's. Like
Macy's is also dying, by the way. Yeah, Macy's needs a complete rebrand.
Yeah, I forget which one of those type of retailers in the malls are now absorbing Toys R Us. As far as they just want the patents. They just want, like, we don't know what exactly they're going to try to do with it. They're just going to try to. They want Jeffrey. They want the Toys R Us name. So it's yet to be seen what's going to happen with that company.
Okay.
But we still have Toys R Us here, so that's good. And actually, Mega Construct. I think they actually sell it here locally there. And they have another brand called Royal Toys, which we are the distributor for. Royal Toys, it's a local brand here that they do like more Hong Kong themed styled sets. They're pretty cool, but they're more for kids, so it's not like super intricate. But those sets are a lot of fun.
I mean, it's good to know that like Lego's kind of having a foothold that's successful in the Asian market over there, because we haven't heard much over here. We did know that Singapore is the headquarters and that they're hiring like crazy. And if anybody wants to work for Lego headquarters in Asia, now's the time to apply. And it's in Singapore, so you're gonna love it. But like as far as like what's actually going on, how's the battle going, it's pretty unheard here. So even if you're able to provide that little bit of information, at least it's good to hear.
Yeah, no, they're getting big. Even the local shops that are selling legit Lego stuff. There's a shop here called Let's Go, and they were like a really small shop, but now they're an entire building. And I think what's Josh's YouTube? I just suddenly forgot. Beyond the Brick. There you go. Okay, Beyond the Brick, right? They went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And I know that they checked out some of the malls out here in the shopping malls. There's some malls that it's just like crazy. It's like they'll sell legit and the other brands at the same time, and even some of the knockoff stuff. But those are still going strong. And even when you go to the malls now, the malls, I've actually shot a couple of my own blogs. I haven't just never got around to putting them out.
Oh my God, please do them. I want to see them. That would be so cool. Because we can't travel.
Yeah, that's right.
Like literally one of the last trips I did before COVID was Hong Kong, and I was like, I could live here. And then like I've been stuck in my apartment for 2 years, like I was like,
yeah, but they're actually doing like all these events in the malls. They're doing life-size sculptures, and there's a guy named Andy who's the kind of the pro certified Lego guy here who's doing all the display stuff, and they're still doing that. It's still going really strong. So it's like every mall you go to now, it's like a Lego something, So that's good on their behalf.
That's really great to know. Yeah, nice. Well, because like a lot of us really like Monkey Kid. I mean, myself, I love Monkey Kid is the reality, and I don't want to see it go. And we just found out that Monkey Kid is going to be coming to Amazon, and I'm really hoping that the TV show is going to be available on Amazon Prime because it is awesome, and it is also like the way to get the kids involved. You know, there's a reason Ninjago is so successful. And I think the Monkey Kid show is even better. Anyway, that's just my little thing. It's just nice to hear. I'm like, of course, like the Asian consumer market is almost more powerful than the American one.
Oh, duh. That's why we try to cater our Hollywood stuff towards them now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is, I've never been anywhere like in Singapore, there's this one street, it's like this like really famous shopping street. There's like 18 Louis Vuitton stores. And like 8 different cities. Yeah, you literally it's like it's not just like there's one, there's like 8 of them. And I'm not even being sarcastic. And they're within 3 blocks of each other or something like that. And it's everyone
is it Orchard?
Orchard Street, yeah. Everyone is there. All the families are there. It's like an evening activity that people do with the people. Like it's like a social thing. It's like you're just there, and it's open until like 11 o'clock at night every day or something like that. And it's wonderful. Like it's as far as like consumer heaven, it's definitely mass consumerism. We can talk about that in a different issue, but there is a big buyer's market there, you know, and Lego's a bit late to the game if they're just getting there now.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree with that.
That's my man.
If you want to see how powerful Asians are as far as money is concerned, watch Crazy Rich Asians. Is that right? Is that the correct movie? Right? I think. Yeah. So watch that, and you'll see exactly the type of buying power the Asian market provides. But how is Monkey Kid? Do you know how Monkey Kid is doing over there?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with it here. But I know that the other brands are taking that theme and they're kind of doing their own.
There you go.
It's kind of like Ninjago City, like they have like their own Ninjago theme going on here, but it'll be like original sets.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So there is at least a grasp. Like, do you see marketing for like the shows?
No, nothing with the Monkey Kid. No.
Or do you think it's just based on where you're at in comparison to the rest of Asia? Or at least China.
I think for the Asian stuff, the theme when the spring sets came out, that was actually pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
I think more so than the Monkey Kid. But I don't know if it's like your guys' Lego shop, but man, the Lego shops here, the turnaround's like super fast. So if a set comes out, like 4 months later, they just got to get them out and then put the new stuff in real quick. So the stuff's
powerful.
Yeah, like. Even I think when Diagon Alley came out, I was like waiting for a little while. I went down like 3 months later. I was ready to buy it. Go in there and like, oh, now the Harry Potter stuff's all moved out of the way now. Like, we're already replacing it with whatever else is coming in. I'm like, so fast.
Yeah, that's quick.
Are the Lego stores there big?
Some of them are. Yeah, some of them are pretty okay in size. They're like in every district now. It's crazy. So I can like drive 5 minutes and there'll be one. If I drive like 10 minutes more farther out, there'll be another one, and it just keeps on going. You know.
Oh, okay. So you believe that the fandom is definitely growing significantly?
Oh, for sure.
In China area, Asia area, any other countries? Because what's funny is that when I look at my demographics to people who watch my stuff, a good chunk of it's from the Philippines, obviously because I'm Filipino. So there's not that many influencers in the Asian market, at least that we can't find any. So I guess you would count yourself as one of them. So you could definitely capitalize on that. But do you see like an uptick like on other social media platforms with Lego as heavy as they are here or in other parts of like the West? Like on Instagram, we see more people posting specifically just Lego or like anything like that, or haven't you really noticed anything?
Not really. I mean, I just from my feeds and what I see, and I know that Lego Hong Kong is doing a lot more. They're posting all the time. And I have seen a lot more of my friends posting more of the unique sets that they're coming out with. Yeah, like the typewriter, and even when the NES, the the Mario game came out, and when Mario was released, that was pretty good because it's all the unique stuff, right? I don't see many friends posting like, "Hey, it's a new hamburger shop or the new monster truck." Over here, it's like, "Yo, this is like the typewriter or the new Volkswagen." They're more into that stuff, for sure. I think
so. You have a strong AFOL,
like the 18 plus market. Yeah,
I think that's pretty strong here. But then I think when you're at the store, like all the kids, of course, are like all into it. But just from my social media and seeing what's going on, more into the more higher end sets,
the more iconic, like actual builds and stuff. Yeah.
So then, hold on. Whoops. My son's trying to break in the door right quick. So, do you see? Are there equivalents of these like posts and stuff like that with like the other brands, that are essentially competing against Lego? Like, do you see a lot of love for that?
Yeah, but it's mostly in Europe. I don't think the U.S. Just like you guys are clear when you're talking about like it's all Lego shops there. Like even the small shop, you don't see too much, right? Or if it's like in a flea market, it's already considered like a knockoff. So it's like not much. So I don't see too much of that, but I do see a lot of people from Europe. So Europe is getting pretty big.
Interesting.
And I know that they're having a lot of issues. There's a couple of German YouTubers. There's one named Johnny's World.
I was going to say, I remember seeing a German YouTuber doing some WoW's content. Yeah.
There's another guy named Thomas, and they're big guys. And Brikx is another brand company that was, if I'm not mistaken, the guy used to be like a toy shop owner, and he started doing brick brand, and they have a huge store that's like really big, and they're selling all these third parties, and they're doing a lot of their own sets, which is crazy. But they're getting all the bricks from China, and more and more people are like totally accepting that, and they're trying to build that up. And then I think like half a year ago, there was a real big issue. The guy, Johnny's World, ordered a whole container of legitimate licensed sets that was actually held by Lego. They would not allow it to go through customs, and became a really huge thing. And everyone was trying to like do the whole GoFundMe or like do a charitable thing, like try to pay it off. And the companies in China were going to help pay the shipping fee if they can get holding the container on the dock and trying to get it released. And I think they finally got it through, but that just set off a whole thing where this other YouTuber named Thomas, who was the biggest YouTuber there, and he was like, "Oh, you know what? Screw Lego. I'm going to start reviewing other brands now. Let the other companies have a chance too." So I know it's making noise in Europe right now. Like it's more and more people are accepting it, but their customs are still, from my online shop, learning about customs and what is legitimate, what is legitimate and what is not is pretty like a fine line right now.
Yeah.
Is it a gray area or is it a fine line, or do they monopolize that area?
It's still like a gray area because we had issues where some of our stuff we sent out were licensed sets, and we don't send it with the original box just because we can cram that stuff way smaller, and we just let people know if you're going to pay for the box, you're paying like an extra $30-$40 for just a box. We're not Amazon. I'm sure Amazon will send you the box and everything, but if we can shave $30-$40 off, we can send it without the box. But without the box, it's like, oh, they open it and go, well, where's the certificate of authenticity? And they need all these files, and we have everything, but they'll still be like, oh no, we can't bring it in. That has happened, and I don't know. It depends, Maybe sometimes we'll say, well, because minifigures are still patent, I'm more than happy. Like, if you guys want it without the minifigures, I'll take them out. I have so many here now in my office. I'm like, oh, we'll just send you just the set, And we don't know if that helps or not, but sometimes they still look at it and be like, no, this just can't go through. They send it back, and so it's still kind of like a gray area, I guess,
So, totally fine if you don't want to talk about this, but like, our previous administration was really, really strict in the United States. Obviously, Trump was really strict on China, patent law, and so how did that affect your business, if it did at all? Like, how did that change? Are things changing now that we have an administration change, or is that still, how?
Everything still seems fine for us. Still seems okay when we send things out. The U.S. has been totally fine.
Okay.
Europe has changed a new law, like a VAT, like tax and all this kind of stuff. So, but I'm hearing now, like for the holidays, it's going to get kind of hairy. I wouldn't know what would happen then, but so far we've been okay when we use like Brikx, DHL, and all that kind of stuff. No problems.
So do you have like a distribution center here, like in California or something like that, where you like will send large quantities and then push out from there, or everything come from you guys over there?
Everything comes from us right now.
Okay.
But there are some sellers that have like the warehouses or a drop off point there, and then they'll send it out. But it takes a lot longer. I guess you have to like when you send that amount, you would have to literally send a container full of stock, rent the place there, and just hope it all works out. But we're just not big enough for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of risk, and it takes like a big transition to get to that point.
That's right.
It's interesting. I'm surprised. Like, I'm curious why these companies. It sounds like they're really powerful. If they have the capacity to turn around like the Daily Bugle in a week, or Barracuda Bay in a week, why aren't they trying to market their product outside of their, just outside of is China and the Asian market strong enough that they don't need to look at the Western world? I mean, I know that it's happening obviously in Germany, and people are getting more interested, but they're not like flooding. Is someone knocking on M&R's door to send him Xingbao? I mean, like, I'm just curious.
I don't know. I think everything's like just the way that they do it here. I think for the factories and the sets that they come out with, they don't. I don't think they intend to sell it internationally. I could be totally wrong, but it sounds like they're making these sets and they're just selling it locally because it's like the whole thing of just perfect example, like the stolen modulars and stuff. They'll be like, oh, no one will know about this. We'll sell it here, And then
right. So maybe getting on the internet is not a good thing for them.
Well, CAD said, I sell it right? CAD communicated with Greg from Brikx to review 2 sets.
Oh, interesting. And like Kobe, I know that Kobe's not an Asian brand, but
Poland, right?
Yeah, I think they're Polish. They've reached out to influencers to do some content for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I think some of the ones that are like thinking like long term are trying to get like their product into the norm. I think that's a wise decision, especially with CAD. I mean, like based on what you said about them, like they're trying to be legitimate, they're licensed, and obviously reaching out to influencers in the West. Like I feel like that's going to be one of the brands here that you're going to see more often, especially if they can, not appear to be mimicking what Lego is doing. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. But I do want to bring something back. Now, you said earlier that all these companies are borrowing bricks or buying bricks off each other, and they're starting to do that in Germany. Do you think? I know, like would never do that. Do you think a way to stop that is to allow people like custom stores, like I'll just use Brickman as a big example because that's the closest to it, to be able to buy mass Lego like that in bulk?
I think that would be a mistake for Lego to do that.
Yeah.
As a company.
Don't they?
Well, I hope they don't do that. But I mean, like, but the other companies are obviously doing it, and that's what's making them successful is because they're able to. Or do you think it's just how they operate? Because when the company shuts down, the factory can keep going and still provide the brick for other people to use, and they share brick with each other.
I mean, Lego can't even keep up with their own demand. How?
Fair. That is fair. Where is the China factory, anyways?
the factories in China, though, like I've seen like some of like the Xingbao factories and stuff. Man, it's like it is another world. It's huge. It's all automated, and all the moldings are there. So they basically don't need Lego to make their own bricks, right?
Damn. So that's gonna be a very hard one to win there in the Asian market. Very, very hard one because I've spoken to some of my family in the Philippines, and they're pretty well off financially over there, and they prefer not buying Lego.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you because I have a lot of Filipino fans too, and they're just the same thing. Like a lot of people just can't afford Lego, and that's why they go to the other stuff. Yeah. For me, it's like I can totally buy Lego set fine, but I just love seeing like stuff I've never seen before, like the stuff behind me. I'm like, that to me is more fun,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, every time you post a video, it's like something like, whoa,
it's different.
Like a mock yeah,
different. Yeah,
it's really cool to see.
It's like you're coming out with. It's almost like you're like a crazy mock builder that's like producing awesome stuff at a really high rate. You know what I mean?
Especially since that stuff isn't so like it's not as accessible for us out here. Like I don't see it anywhere.
Yeah, it's hard. You barely I remember when we all met up. Like Claire was definitely gravitated to that toy store right next to the Lego store.
Yeah.
I bought all of the laws, all of them.
That's the first time I ever seen it.
I have like 100 law sets now.
Did you get the church, the new church that just came out?
No, I have all the mini ones, and then when new stuff comes out, but then so basically, I bought all the laws before I found you and I found your store. So I'm like, okay, I literally I'm looking at them. There's like 100 of them. There's not 100. There's like 60, but whatever, same. But I have to build those, and then I'm going to go to the bigger size stuff. And then I just feel like Scotty, you are like the person to buy that stuff for us. Like you're like our only safe and good option. And it's also like supporting a small business. It has all the good feels. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I trust your site.
Yeah. A lot of people are like real hesitant at first, and just I can't. Our prices don't include shipping because I'm like, we try to just find the best way to ship. There's a lot of people that don't like that. There's people that why can't you be like Amazon and just like click go and go and go. Well, we always have a one-on-one and make sure like this is what you want, or if you add this set to it, it might bring the weight down.
I'm sorry for those stupid questions. Yeah, why are you not the biggest company in the world? I mean, just like why? Why can't you do the same thing that
like Amazon?
Yeah,
what kind of question is that?
Yeah, aren't you Jeff Bezos? No, I mean
it all costs money. Like it's all money, but we just like I look at the sets too. Sometimes the customer buy a set, I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to take one for myself. My library is like insane. The backlog of
this might be why the company might not be as profitable as you're wanting it to be.
Buying all my own stock,
like you can't be doing that. And you also sell Lego as well.
I saw a couple of the sets that I like basically, or the sets that are like people having a hard time finding. So we do sell
tiny sets.
We buy the Lego is the one that actually sends them over to my office. I'm like, okay. They know. Nice. No, I have this other stuff, right? Yeah, it's okay here. So we have like the flower. I think we need the poo, the friend's apartment, and the newer stuff we haven't really ordered, because we're just trying to keep everything in the flow with the business, But no, it's like it's fun. Laws is really getting some crazy stuff out there right now, the bigger sets. But see, the funny thing with Laws too is they actually have one or two sets that might be stolen designs.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Right.
Also, they're like the shady imitation IP thing, I think, is where they're like kind of treading the line, like with, is it McDonald's or is it like they're fake, not the fake Coca-Cola, things like that. Can we talk about how Laws has different scales?
Yeah. They have micro, right?
No, they're not just they have different scales within their brand.
Oh, that's right. You're showing me that.
Did you know that? So like most of the Law sets that I've bought have been the same scale, the small scale. And then different than Nano Block, actually. They're different, but they're small. And then I was given a gift from a friend of mine at a sushi restaurant in New Jersey. Apparently, if you eat like a ton of sushi, it's like a conveyor belt sushi, you get this like little sushi building block gift. Right. And he gave it to me and I look at it and it's Laws bricks. And then Sans goes to, I have a little where is it? I have a little case of my Laws brick collection because they give you so many extra bricks in the, it's not like Lego, there's so many extra. So I have like a little collection of parts and he puts it in there and it's a different size. Like the 1x3 has two different sizes and they say Laws on it. What is that? How does
they have like nano, they do have their own nano size.
Mm-hmm.
They have the micros. I thought they only had like two sizes. I didn't know they have three.
Oh, I've only experienced two. Okay, maybe it is two.
Okay, yeah. So they do have micro. It's so confusing because I don't know if they can even. This is the other thing. I saw like a bunch of nano blocks that are like totally different than the original. And I'm building one right now. I'm halfway through. It's a bit ambitious. It's huge. It's a beautiful looking set. But anyway, they do have two sizes. They have nano block size. Or nano block, but because maybe they can't say nano block.
Right, nano block is like a different one. Yeah.
Right. Which is super, super small. Everyone complains about like they can't use it with their fingers or whatever. I'm totally fine. Like I'd love building nano stuff. And then they have Laws size, which they try to call micro blocks. So those are the ones that are like just slightly smaller than Lego size. But so many people are confused about that. I even got a message saying from one guy like, "Oh, I watch your videos all the time. I love it, but can you please tell people like the difference between laws? Because I bought laws thinking it was Lego, but I'm like, well, I kind of did those videos already." And yeah, it can be really, really deceiving when you're going on Amazon or like other seller sites.
Yeah, it is deceiving that for sure. I totally get that. But I actually, so for me, like the fact that it's a different scale than regular Lego was like my entry point. I was like, oh, okay, this looks totally different. It feels totally different. It, putting it together is completely different. And they use building techniques that are completely different. And like they have this whole series of like these little mini cities. And if you want to make it out of Lego, so I took the Lego blocks and I made it, and this is the size difference between the two. And
that's rad. Like, so I'm keep asking people, can you please do like, if you're gonna do laws, like do a Lego version of it?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video on this and like just kind of comparing so people can really see the visual or whatever. But like, so that's that, right? You kind of like get that, but like that's like kind of the entry point. But what I was like kind of lost my mind over is that like Lego is so militant with their system, right? And so and people lost their mind with Bionicle, right? Because it like was so far outside of it, or like any of like, Scala, Belleville, all those other themes that are just like wacky. And they're almost like fringe things, even though they're still by Lego.
Right.
And then like laws so freely is like, oh, let's just do another scale. Let's just do we're just going to produce 2 different blocks. And it's just like, it seems so like Wild West, but equivalent. Do you know what I mean? Out there with like all the brands.
Popular.
It's super popular.
Popular.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty smart because you definitely kind of separated yourself from compatible to Lego, because these are obviously not compatible.
They're not compatible, but they have designs that are like, maybe I think they do have some Lego idea designs that they made smaller scale.
What do you say about that? Like, come on, man. Need some originality over here. It was like,
because
there are original sets, and they are amazing too. Which is
they have an advantage though, because they're smaller pieces. The level of detail can be increased so much, and so they look visually very beautiful, as display pieces, even though they're like crap playthings because they fall apart and they're absolute choking hazards. But like. And also your fingers, like it makes you feel like you're a giant when you're building with them, and you like to get like, because like the building techniques aren't completely like fleshed out, like the order of operations of things, like you shouldn't, they should absolutely be redone. Cause like no one's really like, quadruple checking it. And it's like totally printed out of like, Stud.io or whatever. And it's like the old school. You remember like, if you ever like build a Lego set from like 15, 20 years ago or something like that, maybe even less, it's like Sans was building the Avatar sets like the other night, and they are illegible, like 100% illegible. Like if you try to open them on like the digital thing, you cannot. It's like you can't see it, and like these ones are like a little bit better than that, So I don't know. It's kind of it's just kind of funny. Anyway, I don't know how it turned into a tangent of me like just shitting all over laws because I love it.
You love laws.
I love laws.
Now that you mentioned that, that's one thing that's really good about these China brick brands that are doing like original sets. The one thing that I keep telling people is like Lego has their design like down to the T, like everything fits perfectly. That's why no one really, I don't see too many complaints. But these other brick brands, I will get feedback from people complaining like, oh, this part is like so hard to put together. But what I do like about those brick brands is more of a design thing, right? So if the design is like pretty bad, it can fall apart on you. But they try to just go outside the box a little bit and try to do it.
Very much so.
Yeah, so everything like even for the regular size brick stuff, they really do crazy things, and like that to me is more fun to see. Like Lego would never release it because that's an illegal technique, but here they are, just like, hey, here it is. It's just how it is.
The true like mocking mentality.
It is. It's very different. It's very much like it's more like model building than Lego is, because like Lego, they spoon feed you how to make something look good, and a lot of people like that because your mind is numb and you're lost in it, and it's wonderful. But it's literally spoon fed to you. And these other, like putting together these other sets are more challenging. And sometimes it's kind of more fun to just have like a little bit of a change. And I've had fun being like, oh, that does not work. Like there's certain things where they're like, fit this in here, and it just does not fit. Like it clearly fit in the digital designer, but it didn't fit. It doesn't fit with real bricks. and it's kind of fun to figure out a workaround for it, or you know what I mean? Like it's not. You use your mind almost a little bit more unintentionally for them doing less work by pumping it out. You know what I mean? But yes, I agree. They are very, they'll push the boundaries. They'll do themes that aren't done. You know what I mean? There's a lot of appreciation for that. And honestly, like it's good for Lego to have competition. It's not good for anything to be monopolized.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that to come up. Is that Lego needs rivalry, and it shouldn't. And we're not talking about Mattel or anything like that. I'm talking about straight brick rivalry. And I guess you would say like Mega is close to that, at least here in the West.
Hey,
get out!
Mattel.
No way. No
I
way.
mean, closest thing
it's got an end cap.
scale.
Okay, I was just at Target. I was just at the Target that's in the middle of San Francisco that serves the majority of San Francisco, and it closes at 6 p.m. because we have so much petty theft. It is not worth them to be open afterwards.
Stop
so it is
Lego, guys.
Jesus. It is like insane. But anyway, they just redid some work to it. They expanded the toy aisles like crazy. There are 3 aisles for Lego in a San Francisco Target. Like 3 sides of an aisle, like 2 full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sides.
You get the classic, the Star Wars.
There you go. Exactly. Harry Potter, blah blah blah. Friends, Disney Princess. On the other hand, with Dots, my girl Dots, and then Mega Block has an end cap. That's facing the back wall.
Hey, that end cap is starting somewhere though.
Yeah.
The only and then there's like a few Pokemon, and it's like they're
Pokemon are trash.
Yeah, and there's like a weird Halo helmet. You know, it's like that's. By the way, we returned a Mega Block Halo helmet at Target today.
Womp womp.
Cold-blooded.
But the thing is though with Mega is that, I mean, I don't know too much. I'm not an expert because I don't really know much. Is that the company that owns them is pretty much not focused on that, whereas Lego,
Mattel.
that's all they have. Yeah, Mattel. So Lego's all they focus on is just Lego. So they're able to produce that much inventory with just the building block for those 3 aisles or 2 aisles. I don't have. Yeah, I don't have.
End cap, just the end cap.
Mega,
I think.
A side question. Sorry, Mega is the one that they do the Call of Duty series, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's funny was we have a lot of people that email us privately, like looking for military sets, and they sent us like the Call of Duty sets, and if we can find anything similar. My wife was the one that was doing all the research, and she's like, "Hey, look, I found all these." I'm looking at it going, "Whoa, those are actually the Mega knockoffs." So they already have those in China. You can find them all over here. I was like, "No, that's wild."
Mega knockoffs.
Yeah.
See,
that's the IP. And Mega has the contract with them.
Mega has IPs. That's all they have, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, mind blown. Mind blown. But yeah, you're right. Lego needs like a strictly based brick company to compete against. It's good business. It keeps them on their toes, and we've been pretty much cracking on Lego's like insufficiencies lately for the past year and some change. So it would be nice to know that there are other alternatives that people will like. The key to that is will turn to if you don't provide A, B, and C, or at least more open to it.
This is what I think Lego should do, and it's funny because when I was working in production at that like years ago in the States, it was from what I've heard. All right, when piracy was such a big thing, or still going around at that time, from my understanding, some companies would actually buy out the pirate company. So even if you
Lego's done that already. Yeah,
right? I'm thinking like, can't Lego just do that? Like just buy out all these China brands. They have so much money, just buy them out. Just don't say anything, and just like no matter what you buy, it's still going to Lego.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting way to look.
I mean, they did that with Bricklink. They're because Bricklink Lego did twice.
Really doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, because every time you buy something up, just with Bricklink by themselves, you pay them, and then you pay them the second time. But that's a smart idea, just to buy all these
I think only if they come close, though, because I still think it's far. I think Lego has done an incredible job of creating a sense of elitism within the toy world.
Yes.
And the idea of doing something like, mixing Lego blocks with other things.
Yeah.
It's frowned upon. And who created that idea? Is it the fandom that created that?
Yeah.
Is it Lego? Whoever it is, it worked out in Lego's favor.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean, when
like it was
was
the
our
fandom.
first?
I
Because
think
that thing came out when?
Ooh, I don't know. It's a good question. They've been around for a while,
You would say like a decade
probably.
by now. Yeah, probably a decade. I mean, Lego's been around way longer than that. So, yeah, they're not going. Lego's not going anywhere anytime soon. No toy company in the world is going to be able. Their biggest competition is video games. It's like literally that's all. They don't have any. They don't have anything to worry about.
They made when they came out with the flower bouquet. Like
Yeah.
right after that, every Chinese brick brand
Yeah,
is making their own flowers. It's like insane the amount. Laws have the flower set now. I have those here. They have their own flowers, and now the new sets that I think it's Symbol that they're going to come out with is they're going to make flower little shops, but flower stalls. So the top will have the
Sembo
flowers.
is so good at those little shops, those little food stalls, and the food trucks. I want all of them. They're so cute.
I wonder if I have a photo of it here.
Yeah, here I'll show you guys my first Sembo box set.
Ooh,
Is a barbecue food cart.
that's super cool.
Isn't that cute?
Look at the color though on that green.
And then
That's
look at the
That's
street. These are the street. These are all other sets.
Yeah. They're all. I have them all here, but I just haven't reviewed them.
So Sembo block. So these
there
are
you go. Oh my god.
really big.
There, look up.
Oh my god, they're so cute. I want all of them.
Oh wait, I think I have a preview.
Are you gonna stock them, Scotty?
Yeah, we have them. Those ones are coming out, I think, next week. This is a new law, okay? I think this one is not yet.
Wait, I want to see the new laws. These are my favorite. These are my favorite little laws food trucks.
Whoa.
Oh wow, I haven't done any. Oh, that's cool. Is that going to be what brick size is that going to be? They're small.
No, this should be
the regular. So
That's
cool.
dope.
Yeah, and then I saw ones like this, which is pretty wild. Like they're going nuts.
Oh my god,
that's beautiful. Also, you did one on
This is lost.
You did another one recently. It was like a Japanese blossom kind of scene, and it had like a big water. What? Look at that! Is so cool.
This is lost too. Yeah, this is lost. There's
that looks good.
You know.
Are you gonna carry all this stuff?
Yeah. Most of the laws we have, but there's just so many products to actually put up. Just like, but people email us and ask us if they have like certain sets that we don't list on the store, and we'll help them out. So my wife just sent me these, and I'm like, yeah, let's get these. These are so cool. Then you have like these ones. This is laws as well.
They have a bunch of cars. They have like a newlywed. They have like a newlywed car thing. It's really cute. It's actually a really nice gift for people.
It's a continuation for that. A lot of people bitch at me like, where's all your, like all your vehicle stuff? I'm like, I'm not a vehicle guy, but you can still get those from our store. And then the architecture stuff.
Got Ninja on board.
The architecture is cool, right?
This is like regular Lego brick size, like new ones.
Shy, can we link Scotty's store in the?
Oh no, that's most
below?
Awesome.
Whatever you guys feel comfortable with. You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, we're down.
But they're coming out with
right on time when Lego's doing theirs.
No way. That's coming out on like October 1st or something, right?
Yep. Hey.
Hey,
who hasn't seen a guitar before though?
Yes, true.
Yes, just good timing. People are gonna be like, I don't want the black one.
Post that photo up first.
Lego?
Post that guitar photo first, Scotty. Let's see if the ones that are released in a couple weeks is the same exact one.
Well, the one that's coming out from Lego is black, I thought.
Ooh. Yeah. That's still nice though.
This one came out first.
Orc is like kind of an iffy brand. They actually worked with Papa Glops, the guy who did the Mandalorian, the Razor Crest.
Mm.
They paid him and they released a set. And then afterwards he realized that they used his old instructions, not the updated ones. So I'm not quite sure what was going on there. There's another brand called Happy Build, which is the guys that were working together. They do all original sets, which is great. They're going to release this.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, cool. And they actually have a
gramophone,
like a huge gramophone, which is really cool.
So we mentioned earlier that, or just now, I guess, that these brands are making the sets first before getting permission, right?
Yeah.
Or at least putting them in production. Lego's done that. Lego did that to Dan Siskind with the original blacksmith shop. because the original blacksmith shop, according to him, was his design, obviously, and then Lego then their lawyers approached him to want to replicate that set, and literally, like right when he signed the dotted line, it was already out. It was already ready for mass distribution. So they already had that in the works, planned and done. So Lego has done that. They're not, yeah. Just to kind of put it out there. Just want to remind everybody.
They're untouchable.
And haven't they been blamed for copying people's builds also?
Like stuff it comes out on ideas, and then like Lego releases it as like their set.
Jurassic World Gate. What else? I guess the tree, right? The cherry blossom tree.
The bonsai tree, yeah.
Bonsai tree. That's another one.
And then the typewriter, wasn't the typewriter? No, the typewriter was actually an idea.
That was actually an idea set.
The wasn't there I feel like there's like many of them. I feel like
we're missing a lot. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So I mean,
excuse me 1 minute, guys. My laptop's gonna die on me.
Okay. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I want to wrap it up.
I can wrap it up.
Wrap it up when it comes back. Come back.
Anyway, thank you.
Say Black cut it when he's not even there.
No, we can wrap it up though. This was awesome, Scotty. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. And
anytime.
Yeah, I guess whenever you want to come back, we are super down to chat because you're really our only point of connection to that entire part of the world. And come hang out. Yeah,
some live streams. That'd be nice.
We live stream. We hang out all the time, and I think there's a big market for the non-Lego products. I think out there. At least I hope so. That's me being glass half full. So I think so too. Anyway, thank you again, Scotty, and let's cue the music.
Peace.
Roll it.
Yeah. All right, dude, and cut. That was dope. Thanks, man. I hope you had fun doing that.
Yeah, no problem. I can do it anytime. My schedule is like more flexible now than it was before.